Hello, you are watching this week's episode of BeautiesTalkingBusiness.com with your co-host AnDrea Pettingill at Shine with Drea and JennyAHansen at JennyAHansen. If you have not yet liked and subscribed, please do so. And this week we are going to be talking about what it's like to be a nail technician as Drea interviews Jenny. Let's get started.
Hello, Beauties Talking Business here. We are here with a very special episode because today I am interviewing JennyAHansen. Oh. Yay! So we want to welcome you here to the show today, and we hope to get into some in-depth behind the scenes of what it's like to be in the industry for 12 plus years. Jenny has so much experience and just has that background of knowing what it's like for the nail professional in the industry today. And it's just so fun to interview Jenny because she is the other half of Beauty Talking Business, and we're just excited to get into it. So I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. My name is AnDrea Pettingill, and I am the creator of Shine with Drea. And what episode are we on here on our Beauty Talking Business? It's like our 16, something like that.
I lost count.
Yeah, so Jenny and I have started this amazing show, which has been so fun, just bringing value and content and motivation to the beauty professional, the entrepreneur. And today we get to find out a little bit more about Jenny and where she comes from and what she's up to. So Jenny, I will let you do like a quick intro of who you are, and then I have some fun questions for you.
Absolutely. So as you guys know, my name is Jenny. You can find me all over online at JennyAHansen, JennyAHansen.com. But here at Beauties Talking Business, BeautiesTalkingBusiness.com too, you can go on about and you can read more about me and AnDrea's story. We both of our stories up on the site there, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, like Drea was saying, I've been a nail technician I'm in my 12th year right now, which is just crazy, and have some experience and stories under my belt. But we wanted to, Drea just thought, you know what, we'll do this, we'll interview each other and see where it goes, and hopefully kind of get to some more deeper issues on what it's like to be a nail technician in the right world.
Really, huh? Because I remember, Jenny, when we were first meeting and talking, both of us really hit on the point of doing nails is this whole different animal, right? We were talking about this, how it's there's people in the hair industry that they just don't get it the way that the nail industry is. It's just a whole nother thing. And I want to, my first question for you is where did you start, So where was the beginning of your being into the nail industry, the beauty industry when you first got into it, and what called you to be part of that?
Okay, well, yeah, so it's such a good question. But in the beginning, my aunt, she did nails for 30 years or 28 years. My grandma, her mom, this is my grandma, my dad's side, did nails she's still doing nails. It's been 30 something years.
Still doing nails? That's awesome. Yeah.
She has, I know she's 76, I think, and she's still does nails. But she had a nail school, and as I lived in LA for a while, I moved back to Utah, and I was going to college. And my grandma kept saying, come do nails, come learn nails, come learn nails. And I think she just wanted another generation to carry it on because she loved it so much. And she was such a great teacher. I remember, anyway, but she just, and I was like, no, it always was something that seemed fun, but not work, career.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. Have you ever, that's how I felt at the beginning too, was okay, it's this thing, this nail thing, but it's not what people actually do for a career and job. It's not actual work, purposeful work.
Yeah.
How sad that we used to have that kind of ingrained in us kind of thing, this belief, this belief set on us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so anyway, she finally wore me down, and my husband, before he was my husband, just a friend of mine, we reconnected. And once I started thinking like kids and marriage, I started to think, nails. And because there's so much freedom in that. And if I knew anything as a child, it was that I would never work for somebody else. Like that was like one thing that I just knew through and through, that no matter what I did, it would somehow get me to a place where I could be independent and not have to work for someone else. And I mean, of course, like I did throughout the years and learned a lot of lessons that way, but and gained some experience, but I really craved and desired the freedom and flexibility. And it wasn't, and so I finally said yes when grandma asked again, come do nail school. And I was like, okay. And by this time I was starting college. I was living with my boyfriend, now husband. And, my priorities changed. I was looking into the future a little bit more. And I started doing nail school. And something about it just lit me up. The problem solving, the creativity, the interaction that you have with who is across from you in that chair. And I didn't know that all of these things, like problem solving, creativity, and really being there for somebody in such an authentic way, would all encompass what it is in being a nail technician and the responsibility that is. And so as soon as I discovered how much I loved doing this, is like when I quit going to college and said, okay, I'm doing nails, and that's it. I didn't think, too much about the money or anything like that, but I knew that it could be done because I watched, my aunt raise 3 kids on her own, just doing nails out of her house. So I knew it could be, it could be done if it had to. And then I thought, maybe, I could fall back on it or whatever. But it eventually morphed into like the love of my life.
That's awesome.
So that's how I got started. Is grandma made me do it.
Grandma made me do it. I love it. So what was your first early lessons that you learned in your first year or two as a nail tech?
That is such a hard place to be as a nail tech.
It is.
You're not totally confident with what you're doing yet, and there's still a lot of learning that's happening, and you don't have the clientele yet. And that's such a hard place to be, because that's when you start to think oh, do I want to keep doing this? Because I remember having moments where it just weighed on me so heavy, and where it just stopped being fun, Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, it's not really as fun as it used to be. And so I kind of and I think that's right around when I got pregnant with my first. So I had an excuse to kind of slow down a little bit. And then I went through really in this deep depression. And I remember thinking, what do I love to do? What do I love to do? And it was, okay, I used to love to play the violin and do nails. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing nails again. And I would force myself just to go, I set up my little nail table in this little area of our townhouse, and I would just go and just play and create and practice. And that would consume my day and keep my mind busy. And that's when I started to really learn and have a lot of things click. And then I started, taking on more clients, and people are like, do you take clients? Sure, And then confidence started building up again. But that 2-year mark was, it went, for me, it went from this is fun and will be this awesome job to a place of well, it's not really so much fun anymore. Now it feels more like work, to this is what is help keeping me sane.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah, so this new, so it's like I respected the profession, and then I truly came to appreciate the profession.
Mm-hmm.
And once those two came together, then I started to build up more confidence with taking on clients and doing nails. There's like friends and family at first, and I definitely made some mistakes and definitely like did some horrible nails, but it just slowly, very slowly, I saw progression in my ability. And since I could see the progression, then I knew I was progressing. Does that make sense? Even if it's really little, it's like I could see it. And so that helped me hang on.
Yeah, it's very encouraging, and it helps you to just be like, well, if I did that small thing, I can do the next, and just keep moving forward.
Yeah. And then, so that was like where I what kind of kept me like going through the hard times. And then I just got this phone call one day where a friend of mine called and said, hey, so they're opening this new hotel up in Park City, like Deer Valley, and we really need some good nail techs. And she thought I was this great nail tech, and I didn't quite have the confidence yet. I mean, I was good, but like, I didn't realize that I was as good as I was. You know?
We're hard on ourselves. We really are.
And so I was like, oh, I really like working from home, blah, 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 blah. I always thought, well, if you can be a celebrity nail tech, you've made it. Like, that's like the status to get to, right? And so I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And I look up online and I see that it's like this 5-star resort, like super fancy posh. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll come like check it out. And so I went in and I interviewed, and I had to go through 8 interviews to get that job.
Oh, wow. That's so tough, because like, I don't know, like where I'm at, like I've always just, it's been like a booth rental situation. So he's like, oh, if I want to work there, like the job is yours. Like you just come and you rent space. So that's a whole different, like, you know.
Right. And I think more just, I think that because it was in the world of hospitality, I fit really well in there. Because for me, what I love the most about doing nails is really being in the service industry and providing a service and just being there for somebody. And that's exactly the type of person that they were looking for, you know, in the hospitality world. It's because it's all about that caring and that nurturing and taking care of your guests and making them feel amazing. And so it just all clicked with me. And then in that environment, the training they put you through, not technically, but with hospitality, is insane. Like, you wouldn't believe what we had to know. I had to know what kind of wood they used in the upstairs lounge, like what year, you know, it was built, you know, that it was eco-friendly with all the materials they used, like who the president was. It's like they like make you know, they make every single employee know everything about the entire hotel, how many rooms were in the hotel, what the thread count was, what the real estate was for sale upstairs, how much rooms go for. Because this is what is so neat about in the hospitality world, is that if one person is like, hey, like they should be able to go to, you know, someone, the person who picks up towels off the floor in the spa, and say, do you guys serve lunch? Where? What time? And how much is it? Do you know what I mean? And that every employee can answer every question.
Yeah.
So that world taught me, I will always be so grateful. That taught me everything I needed to learn, everything.
So how do you pull the things that you learned from that into what your salon is right now? And tell us a little bit about your, you have your own salon, and tell us a little about where you're at right now, and like how do you pull that into your work today?
Okay, so after that, my husband and I moved, and I was just like kind of like devastated because I loved working there so much, and I loved the people I got to meet. That was amazing because I got to meet people that I would never get to meet in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the biggest lesson for me was that meeting like these celebrities and these people with money, and like the big shot CEOs and presidents of networks, and do you know what I mean? And it was just like, what I learned is that they were all, at least the people I met, were genuinely so kind-hearted and were very like giving and generous and kind. And that's when I had this paradigm shift of, I can be kind and still do business, and and then it was this moment of, so we moved and I was still driving up there, but it was a 4-hour commute, 2 hours there, 2 hours home. And I had this moment of, okay, now what? Like, what's next? Like, I've reached this whole like celebrity nail tech, and and I mean, I don't say that to be like weird. Like, it was an accomplishment, but celebrity nail tech, and I'm like, okay, check. But I didn't, like, I needed more. Like, I wasn't totally fulfilled in that. And so I decided to quit my job and come move, work somewhere more locally. So I started working for a local salon, and it was maybe like 15 minutes from where we lived. And it was such a sad situation because I was so like hyped up on this environment of like high-end spa, and just the high you get from having the freedom to care for your clients, because they would give you that freedom. They say like, everyone has $100, that if you need to comp something, you can. Or like, if I wanted to, like, if someone said that they, like, their back was hurting, like, I could go to the massage therapist, have them put together like a little herbal bath soak and have it sent up to the room with a little card that said, here's a little bath soak for tonight, hope your back feels better. Do you know what I mean? Like, we had freedom to do that.
Like above and beyond. Yeah, that's so cool.
That's what they want. That was their whole mission, is like, yeah. They weren't just like, we're not just a hotel, we create experiences here. That was their mission. And so I went from that just really like loving, just being able to just love on people, to the salon where I think the owner's like mom bought her this salon, and she didn't really care about it. And I mean, I can't say that. It seemed that she didn't really care about it or appreciate it, or that she didn't really love being there. And I remember going to her once and saying, hey, let's go grab lunch. You can tell me what you expect, what you want the client to feel, da, da, da. And she goes, you know what? We don't really do things like that here. And I was like,
and it was like so different.
So different. And then I would hear some of this hairstylist that was next to me, and she would just like, whoever was in her chair, she was telling everybody everyone's business. She was like just really drama, and it like hurt my soul. It was like, this is not who I am. So I left there. I was there 3 months. I left there and I started working from home. And then I worked from home for 2 years, and then we moved. We bought our first house, and then I really missed like being in a salon like environment, but I wanted like a healthy salon environment. So then I found this other salon that was close by me where the culture was very much like uplifting and very positive culture. And so I was like, oh, yay, I'm home, you know? And so I loved working there for a while until that kind of started to fall apart. And there were some problems and things just weren't really connecting like they weren't connecting in a way that like everyone on the team was trying to get this end result, and it just wasn't connecting, and corporate kind of got in the way. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back home. And so I talked to my husband into letting me just build my own studio space. And so now it's like my own space, my own salon, and I take what I've learned from my customer service experience, seeing a business owner who didn't appreciate what she had, seeing corporate battles versus wanting to do more high vibrational things, and then my hospitality experience, and then my love for problem solving, working with people and serving people, and just roll it all into one to get me where I am today.
I love it. And one of the things that I wanted to point out about it is because you followed what was feeling good for you in the spaces that you were in, and you honored when it wasn't right for you. Because I think sometimes I've been through 7 different salons, and I think sometimes we get really hard on ourselves and like maybe shame ourselves when it's like, oh, but I've only been here 3 months or something like that. Like a nail tech might make themselves like go through a situation they know isn't honoring their true self and their, you know, where they should be and the people they want to be around, you know.
And let's just be real right now, like salon environments can be really catty and really negative.
Yeah.
And if that's not who you are, don't try to be that. Like, don't let that bring you down. And one of the biggest things that I've learned throughout my years too, as someone who's maybe newer in the industry, is that if you go quality, and integrity, if you have quality in your work, quality in your customer service, quality in your products, integrity in your work, integrity in your products, integrity in your customer service, that your clientele will build. The people will find you. Your books will fill. Just show up.
Yeah, it's like almost simple, but people miss it. It's like show up, have integrity, and, you know, just follow through.
Do what's right, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not about, I know it can be hard, especially like if you go into a salon and you want to make friends with people, but if they're not your tribe and they're not your people, that's okay. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just be true to yourself. And I also learned too, in like salon environment, like don't talk about your personal life, don't talk about your problems, don't talk about your business, because everyone will know. And the longer you can keep that to yourself, then like the better your work will go, honestly. Because unfortunately there are some people who, you know, no matter, you're in a group of people and everyone's amazing, there's always a couple bad apples that like to stir stuff up. So just be true to yourself always. Mm-hmm. And just keep your focus on the client and try not to focus on you know, fitting in as much. Just focus on the client and focus on the company's mission, and you're golden.
Yeah. And if you're that company, like remember your mission and what you're doing and what you want your customer to walk away with, because I think that what gets people kind of caught up is like worrying about the connections with their coworkers instead of like, what is the experience my customer's having at this moment? Like, let me just shift back to what matters the most, you know?
Who's paying my bills?
Yeah. Yeah. I always like joke. I have like 70 bosses, like, you know, give or take. And it's like it's a whole different, like every time a new client comes and sits down, like it's their time, you know, they're paying for it.
Amazing. I mean, my clientele list is, I haven't counted, but maybe like 20, but they're like every 2 weeks they're here, but it's still like 70, like blows my mind. I'm like, that's amazing.
And that's a different dynamic of working, more days a week, not having kids, and like, yeah. Refer back to our balance, episode about balancing life, because right now I'm seriously at this point where I'm like, oh wait, I've been saying I'm not accepting new clients like 5 new clients ago. And I'm like, oops.
So I'm just going to say, like, link to work-life balance episode.
Yeah, hint, hint, AnDrea, follow your own advice, but we all like, it just happens.
It happens.
So before we end our little chat with you, Jenny, I just want to, and like kind of what we're just kind of talking about right now is like, loving the work that we do, and just kind of like, would you ever leave the nail industry, and what would take you away from it, and or the opposite, why would you stay, and like, how do you see it long term for you?
That's heavy. Okay, so
in like 2 minutes.
Like about a year ago, I thought I was like ready to walk away and say, you know what, I'm like retiring in like a year. Like this is like 2 years ago. And I can't ever leave it. I can't, it's in my soul. And I tell people, if you gave me $1 million today, I will still do nails. Maybe it's just once a week, but I will still do nails, because nothing is more valuable than this calling that you have to go into the beauty industry. You are called to go into the beauty industry not because you like hair and makeup and nails. You are called into, I believe this so through and through. You are called into the industry because you want to help other people feel beautiful, nurtured, and cared for, and to be that reflection and show them that they are valuable.
I have chills. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, and it's like that. I mean, I think back on some ladies that I started doing their nails like 6 years ago, and they're still with me, and they're like completely different women. And it's like those moments, like you always say, Drea, when you are holding somebody's hand every 2 weeks, and their hands are in your hands, there's so much responsibility, power, and love in that. And that if you have an opportunity to voice, nurture, and cherish and love on someone, just one person, one moment could mean, life or death for them. It could mean safety. It could mean everything. It's something to never take for granted. Because if you have a calling and a gift to be in this industry, then don't ever take it for granted.
Yeah. I love it. That's beautiful. I think that's like a perfect way to end, because I feel it just like lights me up. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because I feel like that will like just reignite and inspire other nail techs who might be in a slump, or taking for granted that gift and that beautiful reality of what it means to be a nail.
Don't minimize your calling because others.
And don't minimize your effect on another human being too. It's not just about the nails. We talk about this all the time.
Not just about the nails.
It's not just about the design, the art, and all of that. It's so much more. Thank you so much, Jenny. This was amazing. I'm so excited. Well, I look forward to next time. Maybe you'll get to interview me. We'll have to do that.
Oh, I am so interviewing you next time.
Well, thank you so much. we want to invite all of you watching and listening to check out beautiestalkingbusiness.com so that you can get a recap of the episodes, the past episodes, the ones that we mentioned in today's episode. They're all on there. And if you want to jump over to our Facebook group, we would love to hear from you. And we want to ask you today, what did you why are you glad that you're in the nail industry, and like what do you love about being a nail tech? So you can we'll put a link to our Facebook group in this, like somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Jenny's good at that stuff. So we will see you guys next time. Okay, bye everybody. Go shine today.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're following Drea at Shine with Drea and Jenny at JennyAHansen. And please join our Facebook group of Beauties Talking Business. We post all of our videos there before anywhere else. And you can also head over to the website at beautiestalkingbusiness.com and hop on our email list. We would love to have you as part of the community. And make sure to subscribe. Lots of love.